So recently we completed a comic with a group of our friends. Primarily, I never did any illustrating before, and I can't. And I've tried illustrating before, and I'm not confident in it, so that's why I asked for a lot of commissions. Specifically, like some time ago, because I love writing. I started writing a lot. Not professionally, not anything like that, unfortunately. But I wrote fanfics for a while, and those were centered around Princess Daisy, and that's what kind of led to a lot of the fan art. And and trying to find a good artist takes forever, especially on Fiverr. But I'm not explaining this well, so I'm gonna kind of stick to the script. So yeah, 8 years ago, I just never knew a short drive to the local comic store will lead us to an amazing discovery. But like all good stories, we need a little background. So 2017 is the year everything started. My brother illustrated a stylized portrait of Bruce Campbell for a girl he really liked. I guess the stars aligned for us. And apparently Bruce Campbell himself was promoting his new book, Hail to the Chin, Further Confessions of a B-Movie Actor, which, if you've seen this guy before, Bruce Campbell, I'll just dig him up and I keep on hitting the cap. So yeah, Bruce Campbell has a significant chin. So not just the guy that made or was a huge B-movie actor, specifically starring in all and launching his career, and Sam Raimi is the director of those movies, the Evil Dead franchise, and then a lot of B movies Bruce Campbell starred in. Like I think some movie that was The Man Who Lost His Brain or something like that. If I remember in the Bruce Campbell the book, I didn't read the book till recently, which was kind of funny. The book is fantastic if you ever have a chance to read it. Talking about all his exploits, about the movies, all his TV shows like Xena, or always kind of a bit part on Xena and I think Hercules. And then he had his stint, which I probably like him the most, probably know him the most from not White Collar, Burn Notice. Burn Notice, I really like. I know it was kind of funny when you mentioned the Burn Notice to the girl my brother liked. She couldn't stand that show. But she liked what's it called? The Three Bs: Bruce Campbell, Bruce Willis, and Bruce Wayne. And so anyway, sorry, I did but yeah, Bruce was at this local comic place, and one of my best friends, I still thank him because this was essentially the catalyst of wanting to create comics, because I wrote like 50 almost 50 some odd pages of the Princess Daisy fanfic, and I know it's foolish because I was still, kind of in a I guess that I was so sad when I sent the comic to send to Nintendo, and just or sent the idea to Nintendo, and they said they couldn't do it because, again, no fan works or anything like that, which I understand completely now. And so anyway, but yeah, I wrote a lot of pages of that. Trying to write something original after that is really difficult. I wrote a book which I was not proud of. It was about cultural appropriation because I was just kind of looking at that, and I was like, it was all right, but I couldn't. And also finding a book publisher, especially if you have no money and uh no publisher, then you're kind of you're out of luck as well. So but anyway, so I just write a lot. I have no illustrating skills whatsoever, and that's kind of what that's what I did. I wrote. Um. Anyway, sorry. I'm. There's a lot of tangents, and I know I want to get to the art. So yeah, one of my best friends saw the painting my brother made, and he bought us tickets to go to the signing, and my brother got his painting personalized and in line. So on the painting itself, it says it's been personalized by Bruce Campbell as in character as Ash. So it says "Shop Smart Ash." So it's pretty cool. Um, and in line, I was just curious, so I was looking through comics and I saw Unbeatable Squirrel Girl number 12, and I asked my friend if he could buy it for me, and thankfully he said sure, and I started reading again. Because I used to be a very prolific reader in school, and then after high school, and in college, you don't really have to do too much anymore, so that's kind of why I stopped reading. And I've tried picking up reading again, and every so often, and I kind of struggle because I'm not as a prolific reader as I once was, so that's why I have a little bit of trouble retaining said information. I have to reread a lot of passages, so um, which is okay if you stop doing something for a while, and you have to pick it back up and start to maintain it. Like I loved practicing guitar, but you have to build calluses on your hands, and um, and if you don't keep on holding the strings, because that's what builds your calluses, and that's what kind of hurts your fingers, then you don't build a retention of keeping your fingers up to up the code effectively by be able to hold the frets. And anyway, sorry, another tangent. So yeah, long story short, this was the catalyst for creating a comic. The next year, I started going on Fiverr trying to find gifted artists for fan art of the characters I really liked. It wasn't until 3 years ago that I found the artist I entrusted everything to, and my go-to artist for 2D projects. And it wasn't until 2 years ago I found a 3D artist that made me realize we could make our own original comics. So I work with two guys almost every day. I work with these two guys almost every day, and I'll serve with the trip to the comic store. So just a little background to set the stage, and here is our main event. I'll try to be accurate as possible, detailing all the art I asked for him from the 2D artist, and here we go. So first piece, let me just bring it up. Is the Halo Spartan, and I think Halo Infinite was out at the time, and I didn't like Halo so much after the fact, but I have been burned by so many other artists that I kind of want to just give them a test. And so this is what I sent him a picture of just one of the character from Halo, the Spartan character, and or the one that you can customize. And then I gave him a picture of redhead woman, and that was kind of just enough to go on. And he perfectly encapsulated what was what was, I don't know the right word, maybe deigned, or maybe what he needed to do. What I've always appreciative of with this artist is because he puts a lot of detail in his work. Specifically the chain gun. The chain gun has a lot of work too. A lot of the handles, or barrels and like the ring right there. And you could see a lot of the like nuts and bolts that hold the cannon together, and it really shines through. You can also see a lot of um, the extra accoutrements the Spartan has, such as the extra sniper bullets, the wrist computer, um, the thigh pack from Reach as well, and the sniper scar from Reach as well. So that's also another big tidbit that is recreated, which I'm really appreciative towards. I really like the expression on the Spartan as well. It's kind of a look of determination, I guess. I don't know. So that was kind of, this is the first piece I asked him, and it turned out to be wonderful, and so I wanted to support this guy with more work. So this was the first piece, and that's all I kind of can say. There's a lot of light and shadow also that are in the work. The top of the gun barrel has a nice sheen to it, and this is, people would think that it would be kind of messy work because there's a lot of, you can see kind of the streaks on the weapon itself and the kind of shadow work on the near the bottom of the weapon, but I still think it looks really nice. So, and now we can go to piece 2. Piece 2 is Princess Daisy from Super Mario. Princess Daisy, my favorite character. To get this out of the way early, the backgrounds, the windmills are not all the foliage. I didn't exactly say that, but I wanted the background. But the background windmills were based on Super Mario Sports Mix, and they're the tournament, I think, one of Daisy's stages has. I think it's the flower court or something like that, and then PD Piranha is one of the hoops, if I'm not mistaken. Mario Sports Mix is a fantastic game if you've never tried it. But yeah, other than that, Daisy is based on her look from Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, specifically the frill in the middle, and the frill with the upper torso, and then the waist frill, and the waist frill is never mind, as a normal part, but the bottom, or the lower body frill is also more Smash Bros. Ultimate-esque. But there's also a lot of wonderful shadows, especially from Daisy's shoulder going onto the upper body, and one of the big differences that some people might notice is that Daisy's brooch, crown, and earrings are not the Daisy shape, is because once again I wrote Daisy fanfic, so, and that stemmed from, because I was writing it, and I was going, it was a little bit after, or I wrote it before, or I wrote a significant amount, and then I stumbled upon the We Are Daisy group. That was a fan group for like Princess Daisy fans. So, specifically speaking, they had on their wiki a clip of Super Mario Strikers I never played before, and it was either Super Mario Strikers or Super Mario Strikers Charged, where her like super shot was like had crystals or something. So I was thinking, crystals can be prisms, and prisms contain light. So that's kind of where I was going with, and that's it was a thing of element jewels, and the brooch denotes each color or region associated with an element. So the first one is beige white for Sarasaland slash the capital kind of came with a lark in ciel, which is French for rainbow. Also, it's a name of a Japanese band I really like. They wrote Ready Steady Go. If you've heard that song, that's really fantastic. But dark blue going clockwise. Dark blue in the upper right is for Muda, the kingdom in Super Mario Land. That's kind of is based on Bermuda. That's kind of why they shortened it to Muda, and that's why there's a UFO in this stage, because strange happenings happen around Muda, and it's kind of water based. So that's kind of why and red is for fire or Easton, because if it's based on like Easter Island and Polynesian people, and I kind of think of volcanoes. Light blue was one I made up for a kingdom called Dodra, which is kind of, I was trying to make a play on words of doldrums for air, so that was based on air. Green is for like Earth and the kingdom Piraputo or Barabuto, which is no, it's Barabuto, which was a joke of Piraputo, which is pyramid in Japanese, I think. And so that's why that region has Egyptian themed enemies and pyramids, right? So Sarashland itself is Sarashal is a word for exotic in Japanese, I think. So that's what they were kind of going for. Gunpei Okoi and the rest of the staff that worked on Super Mario Land. So that's kind of what I wanted more to go to. And the next one is yellow for electricity and chai. I couldn't think of exactly a correlating thing between China and electricity, but I figure just keep adding to it, and you got to come up with each element and how it works and all that. I forgot Sarashland is either was like the element of light, and the last one is dark purple or purple, which is based on another one I made up called Kuroda, and Kuroda I was almost kind of made a joke of myself, because with the one I made up Dodra, it was kind of not corruption, but like kind of not portmanteau, but a thing of like a joke based on doldrums, because doldrums is relating to air, and Kuro I think is black in Japanese, so I kind of wanted to kind of have something like that. So Kuroda was kind of based on like Japan and France, which I kind of wanted, because I think at the time I wanted to appeal to the We Are Daisy group, and I think their admin or whoever led the group was French, so I kind of wanted to not impress them, but I just wanted to I wanted to include them in the story, because seeing something that you recognize, or seeing something that makes you feel for the story, or feel like you're included or something like that. So hang on real quick. Just gonna check something real quick. All right, sorry, I'm back to it. Um. So yeah, I wrote a lot, and yeah, I again the story can't be realized. If you want to work on your own Nintendo game, like again the not the Crypt of the Necro Dancer, a Cadence of Hyrule, or I can't think of any other, or like Metroid Prime. Metroid Prime's another famous example of a Western studio working on Japanese property, and Metroid Prime is fantastic. Same thing with like Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. I never played those games, but they look fantastic as well. So, um, anywho, that's all I can say about Princess Daisy. Anyway, next is Miss Samus Aran. Uh, I wrote Samus and Mia from Fire Emblem into the story because I was thinking it'd be cool if, like, Princess Daisy and Samus and Mia were all best friends and all that. Um, so Samus is kind of just based on her, like, normal suit, the Varia suit, kind of. I've tried doing a lot of research, and the Varia suit, I kind of messed it up when I started. Um, what I meant to say is, I never played a lot of Metroid games growing up. Around 2016, I asked the same best friend, who got us to the comic shop. I was asking, or 2016, 2017, I don't remember. I was asking him, like, because it was the 30th anniversary of Metroid, so I think it was 2016, and Fusion was on the shop for My Rewards, or my Nintendo My Rewards. And I asked my best friend, said, is Metroid Fusion good? And he said, yeah, that's pretty good. And I tried it, and I was generally god awful. I died plenty of times. I didn't understand a lot of things, but I think what made me, it was such an amazing, like, I guess I don't know what you would phrase it as, but I just when I finally beat it, or when I finally played more and more, and I was getting a huge I was getting a lot of appreciation for it, and I loved everything about it. I loved the ice beam, and all the bosses like Neo Ridley, and the Omega Metroid and the SAX. And so after Fusion, I bought Super Metroid and Metroid Zero Mission, and Super Metroid is great. Metroid Zero Mission is great. Zero Mission has one of the most, like, annoying things ever, because, like, Zero Mission introduces Zero Suit, and Zero Suit is, like, one of the most, like, worthless pieces of gameplay I've ever seen, because that's the funniest thing is, or sorry, like, when I played Smash Brothers years ago, that was only my, like, as with probably a lot of other guys or a lot of other people, is that was your only instance to like seeing, like, Earthbound, or if you didn't play any other Nintendo franchise like Star Fox, or that was your intro to a lot of characters. And it's such a great platform because, unfortunately, I think I was kind of one of those sweaty guys that saw Zero Suit Samus, and I was one of but they put a demo of Super Metroid in Super Smash Brothers Brawl, and I think I tried it once, and I was terrible at it. and I didn't think about it for a while. And I think my first introduction to the shoot 'em ups was Metal Slug Anthology, and Anthology is amazing too if you get ever get a chance to play it. It's almost like the best version to play the games because I think 2 and X don't have the what's it called the slowdown associated with some of their higher end stuff. So um anyway, sorry. Uh, Long story short is that when I finally played Metroid Zero Mission, I hated that part. That part is one of the worst things ever for in Zero Mission. And when you finally get back to your shoot, you're just like, fine, finally, because the zero suit aspect just absolutely is terrible. Um, so yeah, besides that, like, um, I love Metroid. I just like I'm sad that I didn't get to play them sooner because again, when you're kind of, because again, the internet wasn't, so much, it was still kind of not in its infancy. That's, like it's in the 90s and such. um but like, again, like Smash Brothers is probably your only exposure to it. So there was, there were gaming mags out, and you kind of had to take your word for it. And there were some video game review shows back then. Again, like X-Play. X-Play was a big one. But yeah, and again, but there weren't, there wasn't as widespread video game reviews, deconstructions, showing off, what makes it special. There wasn't anything, that you just had to take a game reviewer's, point of view back then. Um, so yeah, I finally played Metroid Fusion, and I loved it's one of my favorite games. Super Metroid, I really like. I don't think it's my favorite, but Metroid Zero Mission is really is good too, except for, again, the worst part of the franchise. I swear, if Metroid Other M didn't exist, then Zero Mission, I feel, would be the black sheep of the whole franchise, because Zero Mission, just that part is just absolutely awful. And uh but after that, I bought Metroid Prime Trilogy. Metroid Prime is a super solid game. It's great. Metroid Prime 2 Echoes is one of my favorite games ever now. I have nothing negative to say about it. There's one boss fight that got me frustrated, and it's in, like, in the middle of the game. I think I can't really describe it. I think the Water Swamp Temple, I guess. And you have to fight him using the roller ball, or and it's in an enclosed arena, and you're in the dark ing, and you consistently suffer damage, so it's very stressful. I think that's the only bad fight in Metroid Prime 2. And yeah, that's straight up, like, that's the only negative thing I can think of in Metroid Prime 2. Other than that, I would say Metroid Prime 1 probably has a better boss fight, or in-game boss fight against Metroid Prime itself. Then in Metroid Prime 2, it's kind of this dark-ing thing, and it's kind of alright. But I swear I have nothing negative to say about Metroid Prime 2. It's one of my favorite games. And sorry. So Samus is here without her helmet. I kind of want a Metroid game one day to have this kind of outfit, but I feel like they never would, because she's always gonna have the helmet, because if she's in space, then it wouldn't make sense for her not to have the helmet, or it wouldn't make sense for her, to be helmetless, especially when she's in space, or in space station like Fusion, or on a hostile alien planet. So yeah, I feel like that's one thing that people might notice is that the cannon, it looks a little bit weird, especially on the end. I think that's kind of in the 2D games. You can kind of see it when you change missiles, but I kind of think of it in Metroid Prime when you switch weapons, like the Void Cannon and the Plasma Beam and the Void Beam and the Plasma Beam and the Ice Beam. They kind of configure on the fly, and it always looks super cool. Um, Other than that, I can't think of anything else. So you can kind of zoom in and see a lot of the additional features too. The kind of sheen off Samus's armor, and other than that, I think it's great. And other than that, I can't think of anything else more to say. Then Metroid's great. So moving on. So this is Mia from Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. Path of Radiance is a great game. I think I one birthday I think I remember I got Path of Radiance for my birthday, and that was such a blast. And I'm glad Nintendo didn't get cold feet, or I'm glad they put the Fire Emblem guys in Smash Brothers. That was another thing. There's probably gonna be a lot of Smash Brothers, because then that probably gave them the go ahead to say, oh, we can release Fire Emblem in the West. And so yeah, Fire Emblem Path of Radiance is the first GameCube one, and they made a second one, but I can't. I think it's called Radiant Dawn, if I'm not mistaken, and it's not as good because the second one you start off with Soth and Micaiah, and Soth is a guy from the GameCube one, and he looks really weird. He has a midriff showing, so he looks like Van from Final Fantasy 12. So he kind of looks like Soth looks like a himbo, and yeah. So again, you eventually in the second in Radiant Dawn, you eventually get to Ike and his friends, but that took a while, and they might be the third or fourth faction you get to, because I think after Micaiah and Soth, you go to Dayan, I think, somewhere, or that might be Soth and Micaiah are already in Dayan. I don't remember. It's been a while, but I just remember that the second game just kind of. There's also a friend of ours that would consistently egg me on to beat the second one, and I just would not want to play it because I was just like, this game is kind of, the second one's kind of booty. I don't want to play it, dude. But anyway, Mia is one of the characters you can recruit in stage 5 or 6, if I remember correctly. I don't know why, but I think I know why. I'm just saying. But I don't know. Mia's super cool, and I know it's me just saying that they're super cool is not much of a defense, but yeah. So yeah, recruit Mia, and she's one of the sword people, and I think you go from Myrmidon to Swordmaster. I think her and Zehark are the only two sword users besides Ike, and that you can recruit. And this is based on her second outfit when she gets the Swordmaster status. So a little bit, I would say, I think everything is recreated perfectly. What one might say that the fingers look a little bit weird, but I think they look fine. But this is based on her second outfit for Swordmaster, and yeah. I again like I can't say more than just the character's cool, but no, it's just you know, you get Mia early on too, so that's why Mia sticks out in my mind for that game too, and just because again, there's for like girl characters in Fire Emblem, at least Path of Radiance, you get Mia, or outside of the two that start off in the Grail Mercenaries. Uh, I don't want to say her name because I'm always bad about it, but hang on, let me check one thing real quick. Sorry, Ballistic, if I gloss over the text because I'm just trying to make sure that I get back to you and we go back and forth. But anyway, so yeah, you get Titania, and then you get Mist. Mist is Ike's sister, and yeah, Ike's sister, Grail's daughter. Ike is Grail's son. Um, but other than that, you don't get too many ladies or beyond that. So Mia's the early one. Then I think maybe the next two or so stages, Nefephne is introduced. Nefephne is really cool. I don't have art of her, unfortunately. Um, another, I think, if you talk to Marcia, like on chapter 4 or 5 or stage 4 or 5 or 3 or 4 something. Sorry, I haven't played it in a while too, and yeah, the big news is that they're planning to have that for Switch 2, Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. So um, but it's unfortunately it's only for Nintendo Online, so take that with a grain of salt. And then Tanith, I think Tanith is, or I think you can get Marcia before Tanith, but Tanith is one of those Binyan Pegasus guards. I don't I don't remember if you can get Shigrun, the other Pegasus guard. That's Mia. That's all I can say. Again, like me is one of my favorite characters, so I can't say anything more about that. But yeah. Um, so next work is Asha slash Pepe Legoo from Monster World 4. And it gets confusing because Monster World 4 came out before Monster Hunter and all that, so. Um, but yeah, Monster World 4 specifically. I really don't like the other Monster Worlds. I hate the fact that the franchise is called Wonder Boy because Wonder Boy just sounds dumb. It sounds like Wonder Bread. Um, but yeah, Monster World 4 is great. Monster World, like the first two and number 3 are okay, but they have a steep learning curve, especially I think Monster World 2 or whatever is a blue-haired guy, and he can transform into animals and all that. And that's what I kind of feel like that's what they did for Shantae. They kind of took this character but to be fair, this game never came out in out of Japan. So this game was Japanese only until I never played the Monster Worlds until on Xbox Live they had a Sega Vintage Collection of Monster World, and they had the first two and Monster World 4. And Monster World 4 is a really great game. I've heard or seen people just say, or I've heard like a mutual friend or acquaintance say it's kind of like Zelda, but I think it's more than that. It's really solid. It's a 2D like platforming game, and and you don't start off with Pepe Le Pew at the start. You just start as with Asha, and Asha is um you kind of have to set the world right. The world's out of balance type thing. So like the Egypt section, it's almost like a Sega version of of Sarasaland and Princess Daisy, because they have 4 different distinct like areas you can go to. One's Egypt, one's a water world, one's the volcano you first go to. So it is kind of like Super Mario Land. But then also you kind of get your own Totoro, the Pepe Le Goo, and every time you feed him the Pepe fruit, which is funny that I know there's people would say they're Pepe Le Pew, but I kind of think of this as original Pepe instead of the frog. Um, but anyway, you get this cute little thing called Pepe Le Goo, and you keep on feeding it Pepe fruit, and every time it gets bigger and fatter. And it's funniest when it's the fattest, because the Pepe Le Goo functions as like a gameplay element. He'll help you do double jumps and such. So when he's at his third stage, the fattest, you can't exactly do the double jump anymore. You have to do specific jumps, because I mean it works in the ice world too. So you have to. It also kind of makes it harder because you have to make specific jumps. But when he's fat and you try to pick him up, it's a nice animation of her struggling because it looks really funny too. But what I mean by the Totoro too is that the 4th stage is kind of a giant big Totoro type thing. So I'm sorry if you haven't played the game and I'm spoiling it for you, but yeah. Monster World 4 is great if you ever have a chance to play it. They had a re-release version, or like a remaster or reimagining, remake, where they made 3D models for it. I know a lot of people said it looked ugly, but I really liked it, and they didn't change too much about the game, which is kind of sad. But you know, that's neither here nor there. The nice thing is you can play. They gifted the original version too, and the nice thing is about the modern version is you can save anywhere you want, so you're not restricted to just saving in a specific area with the master save. So yeah, one thing I really like about the characters is that I can't think of a lot of characters with green hair. I honestly like. No, beyond anime, I keep on trying to think of like video game characters with green hair, and I kind of struggle. I can't think of probably in Fire Emblem there's a bunch, but I can't think of off the top of my head who has green hair and who doesn't. So that's kind of enough, or that's kind of all I gotta say about Asha. So hang on. Yeah, I think we're all good. We don't have to worry about the sound, because I'm recording it as well, and I don't think it would have the sound effect. Hopefully, if not, yeah, we'll just cut it, and yeah. So the next piece is I don't particularly like this character, but it was the first batch was that we again, before I met the 2D artist I really like, is that I asked another artist on Fiverr, Himina Megilo, I think, to make specific pieces of Western characters with Japanese samurai stuff. So this was Stephanie Brown, one of the Batgirls, in a samurai armor, and we kind of continue the theme on a character called Soranek Natu. She's a Green Lantern in the Green Lantern series, and then Power Girl in a kimono. So I kind of liked all these ideas, and I kind of wanted to have like great versions of that idea. So I asked again the 2D artists to make like not dissing or making fun of the original artists, but making like high quality HD art of this concept. So this is Stephanie Brown, one of the third or one of the other Batgirls that wasn't Cassandra Cain. Sorry, I like Cassandra Cain way more. Um, but I can't speak. Specifically speaking, sorry, let me drag this back up. I didn't like think about too many of the details of the painting, and when the 2D artist made like a significant like upgrade, I was just like kind of taken aback because I was just like, whoa. Specifically, kind of the jewel on the upper body and the bat symbol on the upper body too. That was new to me. I never saw it until I started looking at more of the finer details. And this is where I think his background's like, because if you look at again all of them before, they don't have kind of immaculate backgrounds, and this kind of, I think, yeah, he started putting in a lot more effort into, or well, not a lot more effort, but just more comprehensive backgrounds, and I think that really stands out. So yeah, this is Stephanie Brown as Batgirl, and this is kind of, if you kind of notice the color palette, when I kind of thought about it too, is that this is kind of more Barbara's modern Batgirl costume, kind of, but I didn't really mind because it kind of just worked better with Stephanie anyway. So, anyway, I really detest Barbara Gordon and a lot of the like first gen like lady characters like Supergirl. I don't really like Supergirl that much either. So, and this is Squirrel Girl. Squirrel Girl is immaculately detailed. I think we based this one on the Sujin Joe variant from I think number 42 for Squirrel Girl, and her squirrel tippy toe is there as well. And so this is where, like, in the 70 Brown one, there's a lot of detail in the background as well, and I don't know if it's like a photo or something, and dropped into, we don't use any AI, and so so yeah, this Stephanie and Squirrel Girl are they have more like high quality backgrounds. So but yeah, I like all the details about Squirrel Girl, the bushy tail and the suit. I really can't tolerate the Marvel rivals Squirrel Girl, because that and the Disney Plus show and the and even in the Unbeatable Squirrel Girl run, they make her really large and fat, and I don't understand why. And like, yeah, Derek Charm does a slightly better job, but the damage is already kind of done because he's only there for like 9 issues. So the majority of those issues is Squirrel Girl's kind of fat, and I don't get it. I mean, granted, this is also the same thing that gave us the better costume of Unbeatable Squirrel Girl with the warmer browns instead of the grays and scraggly browns. So that's nice browns and oranges, and and a lot more to work with instead of the gray and brown. The gray and brown is ugly. So moving on. Hang on. Just check. Yep. So yeah, no AI, and we're just in making sure that we don't use it, because then that kind of downgrades art, or it kind of makes people thumb their noses at the art. and then we wouldn't exactly have a job making, or we still don't have a job, but we don't, we wouldn't be taken as seriously if we used AI. So this is Cassandra Crane as Batgirl. Oops. And another one without the mask. But also I really appreciate this one because it's in motion. And there was one version I think he made where there wasn't the reflection on the glass, but I much prefer this one with the reflection on the glass, because then it looks like she's moving, the cape's moving, that there's a lateral motion to it, and that it's not just a still image. So I really appreciate that too. Moving on is Katana, also from DC, and another one where I kind of wanted the mask, not the obfuscate the face. I can't think of the word. I can't remember how you say it. Obfuscate the face. So I kind of wanted it to kind of have the expression, kind of, get a stern expression in a great like pose like that with the Soul Taker sword. And I'm always kind of disappointed because they never utilize Katana, and yeah, they had her have a cameo in Crisis on Infinite Earths, but she did nothing in that. So, fun. I really like the red ribbons on the jacket and the sashes. So they give another thing of movement to the picture, so it's not just a static image. So, this is an original character we made, and this was originally a supporting character in the Princess Daisy fanfic, Princess Lisa. I was thinking, since it never was made, we could always make an original comic based off Princess Lisa, and then, maybe somewhere down the line we can, make that comic. But for right now, Princess Lisa had the power of darkness, and always a lot of times you see darkness and you kind of vilify it, but I think, you can always make it a cool or interesting power. So yeah. This is another like HD version of the other art that I showed you before. So Power Girl in a kimono. But I really like this version too. She has a really stern expression, and I really appreciate that too. So yeah. Sorry, I should let them hang a little bit longer. But yeah, I talked about Daisy and Samus like so much, and I barely talking about all the other characters we've worked on, or made versions of, and so go back to Power Girl in a kimono. I just really like it. I know people would complain and say it's just covering up, Power Girl's thing, but I think it looks cool. So, moving on. So again, Sornik Natu, she's a Green Lantern character. Yeah, I can't. It was another like. I wanted to see it made, and so this is kind of her as a Blue Lantern. So you could, that was kind of the thing that kind of boggled my mind, was if you can make the uniform solid, into your liking, why couldn't you make the weapons you construct solid as well? It kind of didn't make sense. So this is kind of what kind of happened. There's a lot of detail on the spear. I appreciate that too. And yeah. Hang on. But yeah, I especially like the armor placement as well. It's very, you know, or I mean not, uh, there's a lot of detail put in the armor. There's a lot of sheens off it and reflections, so it looks really nice. It also looks like there's kind of like steam coming off the spear as well, so it's really cool. If you kind of want to get a close up of Soranik's face, and yeah, because it's kind of hard to see with the red skin tone. So this one is really special at the time because this was his like this is the first one for a guy character, and specifically because I was going like I was kind of going like, man, I really like Bayonetta, but Bayonetta is also kind of the main character, so I kind of wanted to um, do a side character, and this was kind of what I decided on was Rodan, Rodan the Infinite One, and he's the barkeep in Bayonetta, and the secret fight. If you turn in a ridiculous amount of halos as the currency, and I don't know how you trigger him for the second game. I've only played the first one, and the Greatest Jubilee is a fantastic music track if you ever listen to it. Um, but this one is really I think I paid him a little bit more than the other ones this time because the if you I look it on my normal computer, and it's one of the most um work intensive one because it makes my computer in the other room chug when you kind of zoom in on the details, because there's a lot of details, and like the light and the cascading effect of the wings, and you kind of get closer and it kind of looks a little messy, but that's okay. But the light of the angel wings too, and the light of the devil wings, and the halo having a nice another light effect, and having both on his face as well. So yeah, I was really debating about asking him to put like a red eye like highlight behind his devil's eye glasses, but I think that would have ruined it, and I think it stands out as a really fantastic piece. So moving on. So I did a um I recorded Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and specifically speaking, I there are two characters in it that I thought were kind of funny. One is just an average goober named Neutron, and so I just we I asked him what Jimmy Neutron's hair on him, and the other is Uwachi the Watcher, but I thought it was funny if we named him Ooh the Watcher, and yeah, so that's what the thumbnail art for the Marvel Ultimate Alliance run was, and Danny Dorito is the son, which I don't know why I asked for it, but I just thought it'd be funny. So next, and this was a period I think after he got banned off Fiverr, and so I found him again, thankfully, or I talked to him again on Discord, and so we've been partnering and working through Discord for on projects, and this is the first one. This is Jinchio Tachibana from Samurai Warriors. Jinchio has I don't think in actual history she had a blade that looked like that, but in actual history, yes, she is the daughter of Dosetsu Tachibana, who had the Raikiri and or Thunderblade, and she got promoted to the head of clan at 6, and I don't know if that's when her father died or when she just inherited the clan. And I was kind of miffed that or sad in that in Samurai Warriors 3 or Warriors Orochi 3 rather, that they gave her a man, Munashige, and I was just kind of like sad because like Jinchio is like the epitome of uh like a cool lady, so it just it kind of ruined it. And yeah, it's even it kind of even improves my theory more so is that Jinchio, the real one that existed too, famously did not like Munashige, and because the control of the clan went to Munashige after he married Jinchio, and Jinchio did not she did not give him any kids, so they probably really didn't like each other. Um, and Jinchio, I think, died as a nun at 36. I think from some not lung cancer, but some foreign cancer. Um, but yeah, it was always kind of a bummer when they added Munashige and Warriors Orochi 3 or one of the Samurai Warriors. I don't know which one because I haven't played all the Samurai Warriors. Anyway, but that is her blade, the Raikiri, and in the game it's shaped like a thunderbolt, which looks really cool. This is based on Jinchio's Samurai Warriors, Warriors Orochi 4 outfit with the cloth kind of swinging. Her 1 and 3, Warriors Orochi 3 looks really nice too. She has like a tiny cape and looks nice, so. Just checking in again. Oops, wrong one. So I guess also if you look, or I guess if you look close enough, I think on maybe that the end of the cloth is maybe her family moan or her family crest. So that might be the end of the crest for the Tachibanas, but I don't know 100%, so don't quote me on that. But yeah. Next is X-23, and X-23 turned out fantastically. I really like the background, and I mean, again, like Jinchio, and I mean, a lot of these backgrounds are really impressive as well. But yeah, keep going forward, and that one looks really nice of like ancient Japan, or medieval Japan, whatever you want to call it. But then this one looks really nice of like upstate New York. This is kind of like almost like thinking about like Sonic Adventure sliding down the bridges like ropes and all that. So that I think that looks really cool. But yeah, X-23, specifically Laura Kinney in the all new Wolverine suit, and yeah. Next up is River City Girls 2, and specifically speaking, this is Profi, one of the new characters you can unlock, and this is my thumbnail art for River City Girls 2, but also this is Pinky Gauthier from Bully, and I was hoping to stream Bully a little bit farther down the line. So, but I think it works really well. If you zoom in, you can kind of see all the freckles that Profi has, and They look really nice, and yeah, that's all I can say. Sorry. I'm gonna mute myself for a quick second, and then I'll be back. Yo. Or rather, I won't mute myself yet, so. I'm gonna take a quick drink real quick. So this is Sue Dibney, a character from DC. Specifically, this is a version that we created or I wrote, and it was about Realm of the Forgotten. It was about a story where certain DC characters that they were killed off, or worse, they got transported to a realm where if they remembered who they were, then they come back to like the realm of the living kind of type thing. So this is kind of Sue Dibney as she came back, and I was kind of thinking that she could have a honey lemon aesthetic from Big Hero 6. Specifically speaking, where she has the purse, and it creates a bunch of different like powers or like abilities or something like that. So I think that could have been cool. Other than that, I kind of understand why this would probably not fly, or another thing where it's like I really wanted this to become a story, but at the same time, that would probably not happen. DC is too busy with Harley Quinn fart comics, So yeah. And before we get to the comic, let me go to our last one, which was made after the comic, and we may not make any more fan art anymore because I need to focus on the comic, and so this is Meryl Silverberg from Metal Gear Solid, and both Snake and Meryl are based off of the Police Nuts character, I think, Meryl and David, and that's why they share the same names. But I kind of prefer the Metal Gear versions or characters versus the Police Nuts one. And if you beat the game, I think 3 times, and Meryl gets the sneaking suit, and if and a lot of fan art, she's not depicted with the FAMAS, she's depicted with the Deagle, or the Desert Eagle. And I get that, but I think the FAMAS would have been so much cooler, and so that's why she's in the picture with the FAMAS. But yeah, you get the sneaking suit if you beat the game 3 times in a row. And I think she looks really cool. Especially she should have the bandana. So the bandana also really looks nice. So lastly is our comic. This is Gravity Gal. I wrote Gravity Gal. Her real name is Sumiko Tachibana, and there are a lot of facets I wanted to consider. There were a lot of I wanted a jacket for the character, because kind of like Katana had a jacket, and a lot of characters that have jackets that are cool, like Katana, that's fine. But a lot of characters that need jackets, or sorry, let me rephrase that. A lot of characters that put on jackets when they're already that character, and you can't convince me otherwise that they're cool. They give you a jacket. Like Cyclops has a jacket, Gambit has a jacket, Superboy has a jacket. So it looks really lame. But when a character is like, like that's almost like that's a reinterpretation of a character that is bad to start out with. But anyway, so yeah, I wanted a jacket, because I like jackets on characters like Katana, and I wanted a short cape. And I was thinking of Incredibles where they said no capes, but I wanted a short cape because kind of like Jinchio, and so to convey some sort of movement, so that it's not just a static image. Specifically speaking to a lot of female characters in comics have specifically terrible costumes, so that's kind of why Gravity Gal also has pants, because a lot of female character designs in comics they don't have a good color breaking up their upper and lower body. So that's one of the reasons Gravity Gal has pants. But also I really like the suit as well. I didn't communicate to him that we wanted a suit, but the suit really looks nice. It's a nice contrast of the blue yellow and red and white and red of the suit as well, and the belt and the emblem on the upper body. So yeah, it was kind of a long walk, but we and thankfully to one of my friends, Ballistic, we just we came up, or just he convinced me to started making original characters, and he's one of the people that helped me with format with the comic, and um so yeah, so this is the original picture. We don't have any enhancements on it like with the uh gosh, what's it called, with the title, but and that's kind of why I should still have it on my if I'm not mistaken. I think it's on my Google Drive. Okay, wrong one. There it is. Okay, good. It's up. So yeah, so we have a little bit of enhancements from the previous image, kind of a little bit of color saturation. We also have our logo, the GFBC Comics or Go for Broke Comics, in the upper left. And we have our titles too: Gravity Gal, a story by Reroll Zero, and Satria EXE. Or EXC. EXZ. And then we have our credits page, so, and a little blurb in the middle. We kind of base this off of or we kind of use a kind of a template of we looked at a couple of comics to try and figure out the best template, and there's one Spider-Man issue, I don't remember what it was, but they kind of try and figure out which, how to to figure out what we wanted, how make it look good. Also, yeah, because with Ballistic help with the formatting, he made this background. The background looks really nice as a background of the credits as well, which I'm super glad about. And then we have so we just have Ballistic, and then we have our illustrator Satria. So he does great work. He recently had a series on Webtoon that was on the front page, and I read it, or read the first issue, and it's really good. And editors, so Ballistic helped out a lot. He noticed a lot of errors in our text bubbles, so he helped with that, and I changed a lot of Satria kind of edited a lot of my stuff because it was wordy, so I had to like remake it make sense, and yeah, so this is the end result. I didn't want to pull up the Webtoon version because both the Webtoon and Tumblr and Reddit versions have the incomplete version. The PDF, we can't upload PDFs to Webtoon, unfortunately. So that's why I uploaded the PNG files. So this is the first issue of Gravity Gal. And this is our first page technically instead of the credits. And she arrives at fighting the monster, or arrives at the monster, and the monster takes a swing first. And then Gravity Gal kind of goes into action. And then the monster's kind of unfazed. So I really like the expression on Sumiko's face. So these are the most panels that I really like, and I think I mean there's a lot to unpack here, but these, you know, I think they have a lot of personality and humor to them. And then you think the monster just goes away, and then the monster throws a building, and this panel especially really this might be the best looking portion of the book too. I mean, there's not to, again, there's not to say anything bad about the comic. It just there's a lot of standout panels. There's a lot of good art, and it's hard to like say which is, like, you know, the best portion of it. So yeah, we were just, you know, 3-4 people that made it, and hopefully we can make more. And you know, I really need a job, but for right now we can the first issue is out. I made a physical copy, and I've sold it to the local bookstores as well. So hopefully it does well, and we can somewhat recoup the cost. And, you know, I know I'm already gonna have negative money on it. So anyway, thank you everyone for watching. I'm your host Real Zero, signing off for the night.